On May 24, 2023, in Jacksonville, Florida, a sheriff's deputy spotted a car racing nearly 90 miles per hour, blowing through a red light on Atlantic Boulevard. Hazards flashing, the vehicle tore down the road. The deputy gave chase, but quickly noticed something unusual. The car was headed straight toward University Avenue, en route to the hospital. It became clear. This wasn't reckless driving. This was an emergency. When the vehicle screeched into the emergency entrance, the truth was revealed. Inside the back seat lay a 19-year-old woman, Anya Wack, suffering from a gunshot wound to her abdomen. The driver, Antonio, and his passengers were frantic. At first, they lied. They told officers they had simply found the woman on the street and rushed her to the hospital. But fear had driven them to deception. Under pressure, their story unraveled. They admitted the truth. Anya had been shot during a gathering earlier that night, and they were all present when it happened. This case was never going to be simple. From the beginning, investigators sensed layers of lies and contradictions. What they uncovered was a story of young people chasing clout, making TikToks with firearms, and a moment of carelessness that turned deadly. Earlier that day, a young woman, later questioned extensively by detectives, arrived at an apartment with her friend KT. It wasn't supposed to be her destination. She had intended to go home, but plans shifted. Inside the apartment were several men, one she only knew as Jamaican or the Haitian, another described as light-skinned and older, and a large, heavy-set man she referred to as Fat Boy. Throughout the day, they lounged, cooked food, went to Walmart, and smoked weed. The apartment itself was unusual, not truly lived in, acquired through what they called a CPN, a fraudulent rental arrangement. It was a spot where people came and went, an in-and-out place, not a stable home. By nighttime, the atmosphere shifted. The group made nachos, poured drinks, and played music. A bottle of Douce cognac was opened, but according to the witness, little was consumed. Just a few sips, nothing more. What took center stage that night were the guns. Inside the master bedroom, weapons were out in plain sight. There was a long black AR-style rifle and a gold-colored firearm. For the young women, these were not treated with the gravity they deserved. Instead, they became props, objects to pose with, to hold, to pass around for TikTok videos. The witness recalled holding the gun herself, standing in front of a mirror with others, laughing and setting up the phone for a video that never fully got made. Everyone took turns handling the weapon, but none of them pulled the trigger. Not yet. Then Jamaican entered. According to her testimony, he scoffed at the way they were handling the rifle. He told them they didn't know how to hold it, that they weren't taking it seriously. He took the gun from her hands, claiming he would show them something. She said she let go, watching closely as he began to manipulate a switch on the rifle, believing it to be the safety. And then, it fired. The deafening sound filled the bathroom, so loud it left ears ringing. For several seconds, no one moved. Then panic. Anya collapsed, shot in the abdomen. Blood began to spread across the floor, the room filled with shock, fear, and chaos. The witness pleaded with the others not to abandon Anya. Some denied responsibility, some froze. Then Antonio, known as Big TJ, walked in. At first, he wanted nothing to do with the situation, but faced with the reality of a dying girl, he agreed to help. Anya was carried downstairs and placed in the car. The witness said she stayed with her, shining a flashlight on her face, begging her to stay awake, asking her to say her name, telling her not to move because the bullet could travel. They raced to the hospital, a deputy trailing behind, lights flashing as they pulled into the emergency bay. Once again, fear led them to lie. They told officers they had just found her. But under questioning, the story changed. It had happened in the apartment during a night of playing with guns. Detectives pressed the young woman for details. Did she have any reason to hurt Anya? Any conflict? She insisted no. Anya was only a mutual friend of KT's. She barely knew her. Rumors surfaced online that they had fought, but the witness denied it. She said she had no motive, no anger, only fear. Still, inconsistencies appeared. She admitted to holding the rifle earlier, admitted her DNA would be on it, admitted TikToks were being recorded. But she maintained. The gun only discharged once Jamaican took it. She described how he stood behind her, short in stature, manipulating. The switch. She said she had already let go when it fired. The bullet struck Anya and chaos followed. Detectives noted her fear. She worried Jamaican would pin the blame on her. She was young, inexperienced, and she believed he would protect himself by claiming she pulled the trigger. As questioning continued, more was revealed. The apartment was a spot, not a home. Drugs may have been present, though she downplayed it. Guns were common there, she admitted, but usually put away when women were around. That night was different. The days following were filled with rumors, contradictions, and grief. Anya's family waited for answers. Detectives returned to the young woman again and again, pressing her to stay consistent. She gave more details, each time insisting Jamaican had packed the rifle into a bag and fled immediately after the shooting. Why hadn't anyone called 911? She claimed she tried but couldn't find her phone in the chaos. By the time she had it, the group had already decided to take Anya directly to the hospital. Within minutes of the shot, Anya was in the car. Within 10 minutes, they were at the emergency entrance. But it was too late. Anya Wack, 19 years old, died from her wounds. Months later, the case reached court. The young woman, identified as Mariah Clayton, faced charges for her role in Anya's death. Though she maintained she hadn't pulled the trigger, she pleaded guilty to manslaughter. On March 8, 2024, she was sentenced to 5 years in prison and 5 years of probation, with 154 days of credit for time served. In court, she faced difficult questions. Why had she continued posting TikToks and images with guns even after Anya's death? Did she understand how deeply it hurt the victim's family? She admitted she had reposted videos and acted carelessly. She said she thought about the consequences every day. The judge addressed her bluntly. Social media, he said, was eroding the community. Pretending guns were toys, using them as props for online clout, had real and devastating consequences. Whether accident or not, if she and the others hadn't been playing with guns that night, Anya would still be alive. It took 135 days for Anya's family to get the truth. It took less than a second for a bullet to end her life. Guns are not toys. They are not props for music videos or TikToks. They are lethal, and the consequences of treating them otherwise are irreversible. According to the Gun Violence Archive, as of the time of this report, there have already been over 1,300 unintentional shootings in 2024 alone. Each one represents shattered lives, grieving families, and young people who thought it would never happen to them. In Jacksonville, Florida, one of those stories belongs to 19-year-old Anya Wack, whose pursuit of a simple night with friends ended in tragedy.